Hopefully that exercise taxed your brain a little bit, but not too much. Don't want you to give up. But sometimes learning programming can be a little challenging in the beginning. So don't be afraid if you're finding it a little hard. You just need to remember that every challenge teaches you something else. And eventually you do enough of those, and then you'll know how to do it. Alright, so this is a recipe. It's going to make me a pretty thing with the robot. I want you to pay attention to the fact that these numbers are not in order. There's a reason for that. It's because I want it so that you can see the result of every action, and we can test it out as we go along. Okay, so the way we do these recipes is first you find the number, you write the code to correspond with the instruction, test it, and if it works, delete the instruction and go to the next one. Okay, so first, create new robot. Okay, gonna try that, see if it works. There's actually a little secret thing that I think Eric put in here. So you can make it a real Junebot. If you want to play around with this, you can get your own picture in there. Alright, back to the matter at hand. Create new robot, got my new robot, it's got my head on it, done. Step 2, turn the robot 1/3 of 360 degrees to the right. Well, you might wonder why I'm asking you to do that. It's because we're looking for a triangular shape. Turn. Okay, if you remember, we did that arithmetic, so 360, 1/3 of 360 degrees can also be done like this. 360 divided by 3. That's going to do the math for me, so I don't even have to work it out. I don't know what 360 divided by 3 is, but hopefully Java will do it nicely for me. 360 degrees would put me back up ways. So if you imagine a circle, like a peace sign pointing down there, that's 1/3 of 360. Happy with that. I'm going to call this one done. 3. Set the robot to go at max speed, which is 10. Thank you. We needed that earlier. Dot set speed 10. Woo. Okay. 3. Done. 4. Do the following 75 times. How would I do that? Do I know yet how to do something a large number of times? For loop. Okay, here's my for loop. Right now, if I run this, what's going to happen? Oh, nothing. Just to remind you again that the stuff that you want to repeat needs to be inside of those parentheses, or of those curly braces. So what I need to do is move one of them down below step number 9. What's my short key for down? Alt, down will move the brace for me. If you get good at these shortcuts, you're going to look really cool in your new job. Alright, so I moved my closing curly brace for the for loop down to here. And let's see if it does it more times. Alright, well, it actually did it no times. Alright, so it looks like I've forgotten something, which is this args.length. Instead of that, we don't want that. We want to say how many times we want to do this for. And I'm going to say 75. Do what I'm told for once. Alright, there's my head going. Possibly 75 times. I'm not going to count. It's making me dizzy just looking at it. But so I'm going to call that one done. I've written more than one for loop in my career. Alright, moving on to number 5. Set your robot's pen to the down position. June. I'm just control spacing now because I don't really want to type. Pen down. Alright, how are we going to test that one? Okay, well, I guess that's very clever, Dave. it looks like what he's done is put a little dot in the middle when the pen's down to let you know that it's going to draw. Thanks, Dave. That's cool. So I just took it out to see what the difference was. Now it's back in, and I've got this dot that's in the middle. I wonder if it's going to draw red. Okay. Anyway, so I've got number 5 done. I'm going to remove that instruction and go to number 6. Move the robot 5 times the current line number you're drawing. Okay, so this in the parentheses is telling me what I need to do. By line number, I'm talking about this I. Okay, so I'll go into this for loop a little bit. There are 3 parts to a for loop. They're separated by semicolons. The first part is here, the second part is here, and the third part is here. The first part you might recognize. This is initializing a variable. The variable is called I. It's of type int, and it's being set to 0 to start with. The next thing we're doing is, this is the condition, and it's going to decide when the for loop stops. So this for loop is going to continue while I is less than 75, and when this condition becomes false, then it's going to stop. And this one is the increment. That's how much I changes by. I++ means that I increases by 1 each time. So we're going to start with an I at 0, and then we're going to keep checking all the way until we get to 75, and then I will not be less than 75, so it's going to stop. It's going to do it 75 times, starting at 0 and ending at 74. Well, that's details. Alright, so the reason I'm talking about that is because the line number is I. I is going to start at 0 and go all the way up to 74. So the line number I'm drawing is I. I'm going to move the robot. Usually with these recipes I try to put the verb as the method name. Move the robot 5 times the current line you're drawing. 5 times multiplied by the current line, which is I. A little bit tricky. It's not called robot. There we go. Alright, so I'm expecting something strange to happen with the movement. So if you imagine that I started really small at 0 and it's increasing by 1 every time, then the move distance started at 0, then it went to 5, then it went to 10, and so that's why you're getting an increasingly large triangle. $75 times. Whew. Alright. I'm gonna call that one done. 7. Change the pen color to random. I guess you guys probably discovered this for the Foursquare. There's a set random pen color. Exciting. What's going on under there? Okay, so every time it goes through the for loop once, it's going to change the color to a random color. So every side of the triangle changes color. I'll call that done, and then move on to number 8. By the way, I'm using the short key, which on my computer, which is a Mac, is Mac key D. That deletes a line. It's one of my favorites, one of my favorite shortcuts. Number 8, change the number of sides to 7. Don't add a new line of code. Okay, so how many sides do we have now? We have 3 sides. If it was a square that we wanted, we would have 360 divided by 4 sides. That would give 90. That's the angle we want to turn. So here we've got a triangle, a 3-sided thing. Here we've got a square, a 4-sided thing. So to change the number of sides to 7, I changed this 3. 7. Now the name of that shape, what is a 7-sided shape called? A septangle? Okay, so now I'm getting a spirally shape, and if you were to go count those, you'd be able to count that there's 7 sides every time I'm going around there. Okay, so I'm going to call that done. Now I am to set the pen width to I. Set pen width to I. Okay. This being set to I, you might guess, is probably going to change the pen width every time it goes through this for loop. And you can see that the pen width's getting wider every time. So now I've got like this pretty spiral thing, and your next exercise is to make another one called Pentagon Crazy. Okay, I'm gonna go now.